It's a home game for NASCAR, racing just outside the Queen City, Concord, North Carolina, home to Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's one of the great weekends on the racing calendar. Sunday, a crown jewel for NASCAR's Cup Series, the Coke 600. That's on Fox. Tomorrow on FS1, it's these Xfinity cars who right now are set up for practice and qualifying at CMS. With Michael Waltrip, I'm Adam Alexander. Great to have you with us on a gorgeous Friday afternoon. Here's what happened 1 week ago at Texas.
What a thrilling finish. You can see Tyler Reddick just powering his way to the inside of Brandon Jones. What a great run for that team. It was so cool to see Big Machine Records, Scott Burchett and that crew find their way to victory lane with Tyler Reddick. And you know, Regan, Tyler Reddick is a human highlight reel. I love watching him, and I love the Xfinity Series here at Charlotte.
Well, Michael, I'm right with you. What a fun racetrack to come to, a home game for everybody. You speak about Big Machine Racing, that big win last week with Tyler Reddick. Fast forward to this week, it is Austin Dillon in the car this week, a two-time Charlotte winner, as well as a Coke 600 winner. Plenty of experience in that race car, but no time for that team to celebrate last week. They decided to bring the exact same race car back to the track for this weekend's action. Austin Dillon sitting in the car that won 1 week ago. They feel like they can get two in a row this weekend.
Reddick, we know, is outstanding, two-time champion. But Austin, no slouch. He's also won a title, and he swept the races here in 2015, Michael.
Yeah, and that's a great feeling when you sit down in a car that won last week. You know what kind of team you got under. You know your history at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, so look for Dillon to have a lot of fun come tomorrow afternoon.
Caution is out early in practice as we look at Justin Allgaier, second early.
Run a little longer, I'll move around some, whatever.
Yeah, I'd start with right in it and then work from there, you know, once you move up.
Yeah, I figured I would start all the way on the white line and then move up steadily from there.
Yeah, you know, I was a little bit confused after truck practice this afternoon, Adam. Couldn't figure out who was running where they're all going. Kyle Busch runs up high through the traction compound, other guys down on the bottom. A lot of options here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. It'll be fun to see which ones these guys like the best.
Jeffrey Earnhardt stopped on track. Bain, the early leader in practice from Charlotte. Let's rewind again to what happened final stage last week at Texas. Michael, it was a big old mess.
Did you see Tyler Reddick just sneak by that crash? But many people weren't able to sneak by. Noah Gragson hard into the outside wall. You can see just a lot of, they're always talking about all the grip at Texas. I don't know where it went because these guys were slipping and sliding and crashing all day long.
J.J. Yaley hard into the wall in that 66. And if you look at it, 11 cautions in that race last Saturday at Texas. That's a record for a mile-and-a-half, 250-mile race. A 250-mile race at a mile-and-a-half track.
Well, that's not surprising, overly surprising, Adam, but I just didn't know it would come at Texas. We usually talk about the competitiveness of that racetrack, and this week we were talking about all the crashes.
So it's fitting that we begin this practice session with a caution, because that's what we felt like we were in the middle of the entire race last Saturday in Texas. Another mile-and-a-half, though. This is the fourth of 9 on the schedule this weekend. How do you separate what we saw last Saturday at Texas versus what the drivers will see here tomorrow at Charlotte?
Well, this track is so different. You know, all the mile-and-a-halves, the only thing they really have in common are the distance, the length of the racetrack. Because at Texas last week, they flattened turns 1 and 2, and then you got banks in 3 and 4. That throws you a real big curveball. Here at Charlotte, the entries into the corner are much more abrupt. It's sharper, and it's very rough. We'll see cars bouncing into turn 3. So you need your shock specialists, your engineers, to come up with that perfect setup so you can handle those bumps. And a lot of speed. The baking really holds you here. This place, it's my favorite racetrack because it's just it's a home game, and everybody knows how much fun a home game is. You want to win in front of your friends and family and your crew guys. So these guys have extra inspiration this weekend.
It's probably a little early to start making favorites because we've just had a couple of minutes of practice, right? But one guy that is on the short list, no doubt, the man that we talked about starting out this practice session, and that would be Austin Dillon. Getting some extra track time, but maybe more importantly, just the overall good experience he's had at this racetrack. And of course, he's doing double duty on Sunday. The Coke 600 for Austin and all of his friends. And of course, we look forward to seeing that on Fox. It's one of the great events on the Cup Series schedule.
Here's Austin Dillon's number, 11 starts here, 2 wins, 6 top 5. So that's average finish of 7th. That's a really good resume to have at a particular racetrack. And Adam, just when you think we had things figured out, like it's Joe Gibbs Racing versus Junior Motorsports, right? And then all of a sudden, here comes Big Machine Racing, and now they're a big part of the story. Can they get another win tomorrow afternoon?
And when we talk about this mile-and-a-half thing, 9 of the last 10 races at mile-and-a-half tracks, won by Joe Gibbs Racing and Junior Motorsports, right? I mean, it all makes sense. So who won the other one? Oh, yeah, Big Machine Racing. It's unbelievable.
And would you be bold enough to put Austin Dillon as the favorite over those Joe Gibbs and Dale Jr. cars?
Well, I would say I would maybe elevate him above the JRM cars because Junior Motorsports does not have a win at Charlotte. And this is a place where they just admit that they have struggled. You know, when it comes to Joe Gibbs Racing, it's hard for me to bet against them here. 10 wins, and, you know, of course, Ty Gibbs won this race last year after spinning, so I would anticipate he'll be real good tomorrow. And, hey, I mean, Trevor Bayne leads practice, and even though it's a limited schedule, he's in that 18. He's been good every time he's been out this year.
Yeah, I listened to Trevor this morning on Sirius XM talking about this opportunity and how much he loves getting to race a car again. He said, I didn't want to quit racing. I just wanted to get in a fast car. They worked it out along with his Fox NASCAR responsibilities for him to be able to get behind the wheel, and this young man has really taken advantage of this opportunity.
I'd say don't write off the guy. You know, it's in 4th right now too. You talk about you know, Ryan Preece running one of his handful of starts this year. Let's get an update from the pit lane. Justin Allgaier 3rd right now, Regan.
Adam, Justin Allgaier 3rd, as you mentioned, a fast race car, but unfortunately for them, when that caution came out for Jeffrey Earhart, they actually found a problem with the left front tire. The tire equalized, meaning that it was the same pressure on the inner liner as it was the rest of the tire. The team had to hurry up and go get another tire. NASCAR approved them, putting a different tire back on the left front of that car. So tough break for them sitting here while this practice is going on right now, trying to fix that issue.
I feel like every week one of our top contenders has some kind of an issue in practice. Today it's Justin Allgaier. We mentioned the Coke 600, NASCAR's longest night, 600 miles of remembrance. Coverage begins on FS1 at 4:30, over to Fox at 5. We look forward to it Sunday evening from Charlotte. Under 6 minutes remaining practice at Charlotte. They're getting racy here, Michael.
What do you mean only 6 minutes left? This is so fast-paced, and, you know, you got to try to learn if you can make passes. You see Ryan Preece on the inside of Riley Herbst couldn't quite get the car to stick down low. And what's been most interesting to me, Adam, during this brief practice session is the differing lines. It seemed like in the truck practice earlier, they were running really high like you see Herbst here now. And mostly early in the practice, guys were running on the bottom here with the Xfinity cars. But I'm telling you, this is a wide racetrack. You can run all the way from the bottom on that blue and white line right out next to the outside wall. It's going to be fun to see who likes what win.
Practice starts today, 3:30 local time. Green flag tomorrow on FS1, like 1:15. It's going to be a little warmer. Definitely going to be a little more sunshine tomorrow than what we see today. At least that's what we anticipate. All of that can impact what we see in that regard, right?
It's the most temperature-sensitive track in all of NASCAR. Anytime a cloud comes over, whoa, another big moment there. Anytime a cloud comes over, you know your car's going to change, and you got to be ready for that.
Clouds, sun, hot, slick, cool, whatever it is. I bet this 18's pretty good tomorrow.
Really good through the center. About a 4 to 5 out of 10 free in and late exit. I'd like to get the rear end under it a little bit without hurting the center. Definitely going to build way too loose in it all. Right when I dump the gas is when it starts to get free in. Copy.
He's got to feel like a kid at Christmas, you know, getting this opportunity. He didn't know he'd have a chance to run a car like this. Devotion came on board with him there, fitness, and he's done a nice job of taking advantage of the opportunity, like I said a bit ago.
Here's the team car. Last year's winner at Charlotte on the oval. In fact, he's won 2 of the 3 mile-and-a-half races this season, Ty Gibbs.
Just working that middle of the racetrack. Traction compound has been applied here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. So, you know, usually when that stuff's down, like last week, Texas, Adam, you could see a big difference in the coloration of the corners. Here, not so much. that's just a part of the evolution of the traction compound. How much goes down, what kind they use, just trying to give the fans even more action when they buy a ticket to the races or sit down to watch us on Fox.
He hasn't won, but he's been on fire, Sam Mayer.
He has. What a great year it's been for Sam. I think 6 out of the last 7 races, top 10 finishes.
Top 5.
Top 10 too.
Yeah, well, that's right. that one goes both ways, doesn't it, Michael?
It does. How about that?
Ryan Sieg has enjoyed tremendous success, but, ironically enough, 2 of his biggest hiccups were on the mile and a half. Got in trouble at Las Vegas, and we saw earlier when we were showing the highlights from the final stage last week at Texas, he was crashed out there. Those are the only 2 races this year where he's finished outside the top 11, and so far not bad in practice today. He's up there in the 6th position.
This is a fun group here. Ryan Sieg, Dad Rod, the whole family run operation just do a great job of bringing fast cars, and it's really refreshing to watch.
3 Fords up there inside the top 10 right now. As we check in on Brandon Jones, winner at Martinsville earlier this year, double duty this weekend on the pole for the ARCA race that you'll see on FS1 this evening at 6 Eastern time.
Look at that mess he's in. All that traffic. That's valuable information to gain there. What's my car do when I get in the wake of other cars? And that time he was in the wake of 3 of them. And so he's able to pick his way through. Solid effort. Mason Massey up there on the outside in the 91 car. Looked like he got loose there. And that's what will happen when you're down on the bottom. Sideways down in turns 1 and 2.
See the numbers this season. Brandon Jones also has won on the intermediates, a pair of victories on the mile and a half at Kansas. Here's what you were talking about, Michael.
Just look at that. Just steps out a bit. Got to come out of the gas. Hang on. Catch your breath. That's a moment. Now he's going to complete that pass on the 91. This is a patriotic weekend, obviously. 600 miles of remembrance, as you said, on Sunday. And Sheldon Creed in the 2 car, they're bringing a beautiful paint scheme here to the Charlotte Motor Speedway.
And they've had some really cool paint schemes this year. Of course, Sheldon, a rookie, driving for Richard Childress, and trying to get the wheels back on the bus. They have struggled quite a bit, and even when they've had fast cars, they've had something go wrong. He enters the weekend 15th on the leaderboard, 79 below the cut line. Not just needing to run well, they're going to need to go get a victory probably to qualify for the playoffs. Maybe it starts for them this weekend. This has been a good track for RCR over the years. Under a minute to go in practice. A.J. Allmendinger has made his way into the top 10. He's 9th. Looking to make it 13 in a row top 10s to start the year.
How about that? Got that big win as well, which means a lot of pressure comes off when you go to victory lane.
Yikes.
A little damage on the side of that. Let's see what happens off turn 2. Oh, lost the front end. That was interesting. Usually you see guys just really try to pull the wheel down. He got heavy into the brakes there, and it slid up into the wall.
I just lost steering for a whole second there.
What'd he say?
I thought he said I lost steering for a whole second there. Maybe I misinterpreted, but that's what I thought I heard.
Yeah, that's what I thought I heard as well, Adam, but I just don't know. I don't know what that means. It looked like just a classic push. The front end lost the grip in the front tires and slid up. But that's an interesting way to describe what he was dealing with.
Opposite ends of the spectrum at Joe Gibbs Racing. One driver catches the wall. The other leads practice. We're all done with a warm-up here at Charlotte. Bain at the top. Gibbs had an issue. We break it all down when we return to CMS.
Harvick Nation.
Logano Nation.
Good to see Blaney on the booth. He's the only guy without glasses. Maybe they need somebody who could see up there.
I got promoted to the air conditioning. We're probably going to screw up, and we all know that.
These guys are really paying attention, too. Yeah. But it's always so much fun to have all the drivers on pit road as well.
Don't change the channel. This is the NASCAR Xfinity Series drivers only broadcast.
You did a good job right there.
Oh, man.
Drivers Only is back tomorrow for our Charlotte coverage. Race day begins noon Eastern time. Here's the lineup. A lot of wins on the board there. Tyler Reddick goes from victory lane to pit road for us. How about that?
That's a lot of knowledge that Fox has put together for tomorrow afternoon. Oh, when you got to go, you got to go.
Well, you're an analyst, so I'll let you handle this video clip.
It's a portable porta potty. That's a lot of fun down in the infield, Adam. You never know what you're going to see.
How do you respond to the text when someone sends a note to you and asks you to do that? You know, evidently they did respond. Here's the top 10 from practice. We talked about Trevor Bayne. And we also mentioned Junior Motorsports has struggled at Charlotte over the years, never won here. All 4 of their cars in the top 7 in practice, Mike.
I was not worried for 1 second about Junior Motorsports. With the technology and the engineering support that they have, they're going to figure it out. This could be the weekend that they get to victory lane.
Also mentioned 3 Fords inside the top 10. Let's talk to the fastest man in Charlotte, Regan.
Adam, 7 weeks off from the Xfinity Series. No problem for Trevor Bayne. Trevor, you told me right before you got in the race car you were going to go out and get acclimated and at least just figure things back out again. If that was getting acclimated, what do you got for us in qualifying here?
I don't know, man. We were joking around about that. How long does it take? And I guess a half a lap. I don't know. You know, there's a lot of traffic and stuff that we were dealing with, but the car was really fast on the first one. Now, laps 2, 3, 4, 5, this track gets really slick. The rear end was out of the racetrack, and it brings back those Charlotte feelings that you always have when you're chasing the thing. So we got some work to do on this 18 Devotion Toyota. We got to get her tightened up on entry and exit. Just couldn't confidently come out of the gas. Qualifying, though, man, it's hammered down, so try to get us a pole here.
Adam, I'd say if it's hammered down for qualifying, based on practice, look out for Trevor Bayne.
Yeah, and he has one pole this year. Got it done driving that 18 car at Phoenix. He'll be doing the broadcast next Saturday on FS1 from Portland. Great Friday afternoon, Charlotte Motor Speedway, as we get set for an awesome weekend of racing. Look at this young lady.
That's just living life right there. Got your scooter hanging out down in the infield area.
Doesn't get any better. Regan?
Well, Adam, we saw at the start of practice, Justin Allgaier having a little bit of a problem with the left front tire. Justin, was that a good break or a bad break? Seemed like at least you got back out there and knew that you had a problem.
Yeah, I think it was a good break. I mean, obviously, you know, we had an equalized tire, which means the air pressure in the inner liner and the outer tire kind of merge together. The air pressure splits and goes together. So not ideal, but if you're going to have it, like we talked about off camera, that's the best time to have it. We were able to make the tire adjustment there, go back out, and, you know, I feel like our Adopted Soldier Platoon Camaro is really good. You know, it's obviously once we move to the top, it changes the way that you're going to drive this racetrack. I think qualifying is going to be around the top, but you know, hopefully we can burn some of that resin off and we're able to move around a little bit more. But I saw the 54 car right in front of me there on that last lap of his practice. Kind of scares me to go to the bottom again. I don't know what to do here, but I think we're going to be really good. If we get a good qualifying effort, I think if we start up front, we'll be in good shape.
Michael, Adam, if we got a veteran like Justin questioning what he's going to do in qualifying, this is going to be a fun session.
Well, I think that's interesting because Regan, after the trucks, we didn't know, as analysts, we didn't know which way they were all going to go. Everybody was doing something different, and we're seeing it again here in the Xfinity cars. The pole for the truck race was one right down on the bottom of the racetrack, but the second through fourth or fifth were all over the place. So you're going to see an interesting session here.
Justin talked about the importance of qualifying up front. And I would say that's always important. You want to be as far to the front as you can when you begin one of these races, given all the importance of track position. But at Charlotte, the numbers indicate it's really important because 12 of the last 15 races here, won from the front 2 rows. You better have some speed coming up in this next 40 minutes or so. And the first guy out in qualifying is Matt Mills. Driving the 55 this week instead of the 5. Of course, Ryan Preece driving the 5 tomorrow afternoon for B.J. McLeod.
He ran just over 32 seconds flat, Adam, in practice. So these guys always reach down and get more when they go qualifying. A lot of these cars were making qualifying runs during that brief practice session because 4 guys are going to go home. 4 guys are going to DNQ. 42 cars here for 38 spots. So you got to make sure you got the pace when you don't have the points.
And Mills was not scheduled to be the first car out in qualifying. That was actually Kyle Sieg, but he had a mechanical problem, and they're in the garage, which means they cannot make a qualifying run. So that puts him straight behind the 8 ball when it comes to making the field for tomorrow's race.
That's center of the racetrack right there. We'll see who goes higher than that and who goes lower than that. But Matt went right through the middle.
Mills clocks in 31.425 seconds.
Picked up over a half a second, did Matt. See where that shakes out as we get a few more cars onto the track. We're going to see pretty early on in this session what it's going to take to be really fast, because in the sixth guy out will be Ryan Preece in that 5 car, and he was solid in practice.
Second car onto the track, Ronnie Bassett Jr. And just as he came off the pit lane, Michael, looked like the car
turn around.
Shut down.
How to turn around?
If the thing's running again as directed by the team, he should turn around to make sure that he gets a better run to the green flag. You can lose your whole lap coming to the green, and he's not in a good spot right there.
And this is another team that can't afford to not make a qualifying run. Regan?
And a guy that's been absolutely on fire in the Xfinity Series, Sam Mayer. Top 5 last 6 starts, 6 of your last 7 starts. Absolutely phenomenal run for you. How's things going today so far with this one car?
Yeah, I mean, this place is definitely really interesting. Obviously, it's my first start here, so I'm definitely trying to figure it out. And still being top 5 in practice was something I didn't expect. I thought I was going to get out of the car and be 20th. So, I mean, that's a pretty good start to the day for sure. I mean, we're going to have to qualify the same way. I mean, the resin they put down is by far the strongest it's been all year. Just dominant over the bottom, and I think that we're going to be qualifying up there too. And I don't know how we're going to race, but I'm definitely going to be poking my nose on the right side instead of the left side, so we'll have to see how that goes.
Sam, you might be surprised with top 5. I don't think any of us are at this point. Absolutely on fire lately.
Yeah, what a great run it's been. And in the 15-lap average, Adam, he was the fastest. So not only is he fast for a lap, and this is interesting to me on the 77 car. Used to, you would turn around and go back to the near the start, exit the pit road, and get your run going. Russell, the stat guy, says, I don't think you can do that anymore. So if that's the case, they'll probably allow him to come down pit road and then go again. Used to, once you cross that start-finish line, even though you're on pit road,
game was over.
That's it.
Yep. Next up, the 47 of Brennan Poole. Slow start to qualifying here.
Yeah, we're not quite hitting our stride yet.
28 couldn't go in the garage. Matt Mills makes his run. Problems for Ronnie Bassett Jr. And now the second car to actually get up to speed. We said it, Brennan Poole.
3 top 10s here at Charlotte for Brennan in his 5 starts. So he can get it done on this tough mile and a half. See what kind of effort he can put in.
Yeah, he had that period in his career 4 or 5 years ago where he was a player on a regular basis, and since that time bounced around, had a hard time finding a consistent ride, although this has been one for him, but not the speed they desire on a regular basis. Been a bit of an uphill climb for the kid out of the Woodlands, Texas.
He ran about a 31.7 in practice. We saw 0.4 of a second pick up by Matt Mills to see what Brennan can do.
31.72, 31.20, half a second there.
There you go. It's pretty consistent so far. The challenge at this racetrack, as we heard from Justin Allgaier on pit road, is how sensitive, any driver will tell you how sensitive this racetrack is to the temperature, to the sun. So I remember many years of standing on pit road waiting for my turn to go qualifying when there's clouds in the area like today, thinking, well, I catch one of those clouds. Can I get a break here? Because it can make a 1/10 of a second difference easy just if the cloud comes over for a couple of minutes.
Busy day for Nick Sanchez. Practice and qualifying in the Xfinity Series before racing ARCA later on. And he'll start 7th in the ARCA event, FS1, 6 o'clock Eastern, going for his 3rd consecutive win there, and hoping tomorrow to make his 2nd start on the Xfinity side of things. Also joined the group at Phoenix earlier this year.
I think our tracker car went off the rails.
Yes.
They gave up on him. You saw him get loose down in 1 and 2 and lose some ground, and then after that, just kind of hanging on. You know what's hard, Adam, as a race car driver, when you go into turn 1 and 2 and get loose, and you get out on that back straightaway, and you just see that turns 3 and 4 looming down there, and that's arguably a tougher end of the racetrack because of the abrupt angle into turn 3, and you know, man, I got to go give it a whirl again, and I'm already loose.
Regan?
Adam, it's been a great start to the year for Ryan Sieg. Every week, seemingly in the top 10 with this race car. A little bit of struggles last week, though, some bad luck with the ending of that race. You rebound with a great practice session here. How good is this 39 car for qualifying?
Yeah, we got a great A-game Ford. Roush 8's brought us a little more power this week, so it's showing. Cowboys got the car where we need it to be. Got it secure enough so I can drive it. Hopefully we can start towards the front and keep it up front. That's the main thing. We started so far behind, it gets hard to stay up front, but hopefully it'll change this week. And just got all of our partners, SciAps, Night Owl, just got to thank all of them to bring us here.
Good luck qualifying. Thanks, Ryan.
You got Cowboy on the box. I mean, he's going to get it fixed for you.
That's Kevin Starlin, by the way. But everybody in the garage knows him as Cowboy.
I like it.
Kyle Weatherman driving the 34. He's done a nice job when racing this vehicle for Jesse Owuji Motorsports this year, the partnership with Emmett Smith.
He was top 20 in practice, so didn't quite pick up as much as some of the others. But yeah, you're right, Adam. Just really competitive, running inside the top 20 a lot. Here's what I've been looking for early in the going.
Ryan Preece driving the 5.
This car had a lot of speed in practice, and I'm just wondering how much speed they can pick up from practice to qualifying. That's always interesting to me. You hear him skip through those bumps into turn 3, hard on the gas coming to the green flag.
Talked about some drivers doing double duty, triple duty for Preece around the truck race tonight, Xfinity tomorrow, and the Coke 600 on Sunday. 1,100 miles this weekend.
As a fan, you might say, why? Why would you do that? As a race car driver, you're like, heck yeah, I get to do it all at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Wow, look at this lap, Adam.
And this will be a really good baseline on what to expect and what you need to beat the rest of the session. As Michael said, Preece good in practice. 30-26 puts him at the top here in qualifying, Regan.
And we talked off the top of the show about Austin Dillon hopping in this 48 car win last week. Heard you say in practice, so pretty loose on entry right now for you. Did you guys get anything figured out?
Yeah, we did as much as we could adjustment-wise. We kind of knew we might be loose, but I think everybody, Patrick Donahue, the guys did a good job, and we'll go get it right here. Probably run up the track, I guess, a little bit. Looks like right in the middle, there's a little bit of grip, so go get it and see what we can run. I'm excited. I think the car's good on exit. A little off on entry. If we get that fixed for the race, we'll be good.
Thanks, Austin.
I think that's great. Don't you, Adam? I guess I'll run the middle, or do I go? I mean, that's almost a game time decision too. You know, when you fire off into turn 3 and you make that choice, you say, all right, I'm going to go middle or I'm going to go high. And if it works, then I think you just do the same thing in the other end.
I thought maybe the way he said that, you know, Regan's a driver, been successful here at Charlotte in the Xfinity Series. He was looking for some feedback.
I think you might be right.
Ryan Vargas in the 6. 7th car to go out in qualifying.
This kid impresses me week in and week out. Adam just does a nice job of having speed in his car. 16th here a year ago.
Patriotic paint scheme, driving for JD Motorsports, and he goes to 2nd behind Ryan Preece, 31-16.
Tell you, that lap of Preece, I think that got everybody's attention down on pit road that thought they might be going for the pole.
Ronnie Bassett Jr. going to get his 2nd opportunity here, Michael.
I guess, is he warming up his tires? The engine doesn't sound right, but is he gunning it and letting off, just trying to get a little heat in the tires? Nope, it's broke.
Well, you hate this for this team, based out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina, about an hour up the road, trying to do it part-time, and it's so hard when you don't have all the parts and pieces you need and you try to manufacture it, you know, every other week, every few weeks, and doesn't look like it's going to work out for him today at Charlotte.
You know what I love, though, Adam? You walk down in the garage area and you see the 77 machine of Ronnie Bassett and that whole team you spoke of. It looks like a winning race car. Very well put together. A lot of details in it. The Xfinity Series from whoever sits on the pole to the guy that qualifies 38th. The cars look so good down there in the garage area, and looks like it could be a car that, with a little bit of love and care, could be a winning car.
Well, that was his last chance to make a qualifying run, so he will not go out and have a chance to put it in the show on speed, and I would guess because of where they are in regard to starts this year and owner points and all that, it will be a major challenge for them to put themselves in the race tomorrow. We'll continue to follow that as we check in on another driver out of North Carolina, Newton, North Carolina. Shane Lee driving to 35 this weekend.
This is his first Charlotte start, so when you think about that and all the challenges I spoke of, his eyes are wide open, I'm sure, after that practice session that we just completed.
Patrick Emmerling, Joey Gase teaming up to start this race team in 2022. And we've seen both Patrick and Joey driving throughout the year, but doing it on a part-time basis. And this weekend, the door opens for Shane Lee. And right now, he's clocking second on the board, drops down to fourth on the tracker. Boy, he lost a lot of speed over in 3 and 4.
Yeah, that's, you know, the team watches this as well. And like, you've really had it going on down in 1 and 2. What happened up in 3 and 4? It looked like maybe the car, the front end, maybe lost a little bit of grip, and he slid up higher than he wanted to be.
That 31.46 puts him 6th. As we go to Timmy Hill driving that 13.
Another good start to a lap here by Hill. Second so far. Can he hold it together in turn 3 and 4? I talked about this probably being the more difficult end of the two. And if you think about it, stays in the gas. Not a bad lap.
Finish the deal. Timmy Hill is second. Priest leads the way in qualifying. Smithley, Ellis, and J.J. Yaley coming up. Ryan Priest leads the way in qualifying at Charlotte. Born in 1990 up in Connecticut. That'll make you feel old, huh? You won here in 93. Won the modified championship. A couple of Xfinity wins driving for Joe Gibbs Racing. Has also won in the Camping World Truck Series. And his wife was a racer. That always makes for some interesting conversations at home, I'm sure. What do you have for us, Regan?
Had a lot of fun looking at those pictures of Ryan Priest on the screen right there. A younger version of Ryan Priest. Let's talk about your qualifying lap first, though. Very good lap. Is that all that it had in it?
Yeah, I felt like that's probably one of the first qualifying runs I've been really happy with getting everything out of it. I want to know how you found my high school picture, though. Like that's just crazy to me. But yeah, it's awesome racing this number 5 Hunt Brothers Ford Mustang here, and racing the racechoice.com Ford F-150 over there. It's going to be a busy weekend. Hunt Brothers, I can't thank you guys enough. Hunt Brothers Pizza for coming on and making this all possible. If you talked to me 4 years ago, 5 years ago, and said you'd be able to do triple duty in one weekend, and it takes a lot of things for that to be possible, and I'm lucky to have a great management company, KHI Management, and all their sponsors and all my supporters. So it's going to be a lot of fun here.
Adam, you can see the excitement in Ryan's face. It's a big weekend for him, and I got to tell him, high school pictures, no big deal. We can find all those pictures here at Fox.
Yeah.
Hey, tell Ryan we'll sign his high school yearbook when we're done with qualifying. Okay, Regan?
I will pass that message to him, Adam.
Garrett Smithley went out as we were doing the interview there with Ryan Priest, and he's in the 36th this week instead of Alex LeBay. He is 10th right now. Ryan Ellis just went 8th. And here's J.J. Yaley.
After that big hit last week in Texas, back behind the wheel. See what J.J. can do here as he exits turn 2. Nice line there. The car looked good.
Well, that was a big hit in the race, but you and I talked about him a lot during practice and qualifying, because that Ford was really fast on Friday and not bad here, clocking 3rd for the veteran out of Phoenix, Arizona. Yaley 3rd behind Timmy Hill and Ryan Priest.
31.14. That was a great lap by Timmy. I said a good lap by Timmy. It was a great lap by Timmy Hill. He's up there in the mid 32nd bracket, just 3 or 4 tenths off of our fastest car, Ryan Priest.
Bailey Curry in the 4 for JD Motorsports. Another driver that on many Friday afternoons has impressed us in qualifying.
100%. I think this young man's got a lot of talent behind the wheel. That car's slipping and sliding. He's staying hard on the gas and running a decent lap.
You know, I think about drivers that have been behind the wheel for JD Motorsports and what they've turned it into. Landon Castle full-time for Colleague. You certainly look at Ross Chastain. And Bailey Curry right now is 7th. As you see, Ty Gibbs being pushed to the garage. That means he will not qualify. You know, he had the spin and win here last year. He's going to have to come from the back tomorrow, Michael.
Well, I mean, I would rather get it out of the way now, right? I wouldn't take my chance on spinning at Charlotte and winning a race. So this isn't a mountain that young man and this team can't climb.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, get back to the garage area, put a little bit of elbow grease in, working on that thing, and be ready to go racing tomorrow afternoon.
Well, Chris Gale and that crew are some of the best in the business. I was just going to back up what you said. They're ahead already of where they were last year, right? They got more laps to make their comeback. 13th for the 38 of C.J. McLaughlin, Regan.
Adam, always exciting. Noah Gregson hamming it up a little bit here right now, sitting on your race car. Second quick in practice, though. Is this car good enough to go get the pole?
Yeah, I think so. This has kind of been a struggle place. I think everyone's kind of talking about that for Junior Motorsports in the garage this week. Just listen to Sirius XM and Race Hub and all that stuff. Larry McReynolds on Sirius XM. But overall, just really happy with it there in practice. Happy with the long run speed, and I think the resin's pretty dominant right now, running 1 lane up. So Priest was fast up there, and it's just about throwing him up on the dash and committing a throttle, and that's going to be the guy who gets it done.
Good luck doing that, Noah. Have fun.
Josh Williams, nice run, 31.4. He slots in 8th so far in that 78 car.
And, that's a team that has created many concerns for us, and they've had many disappointments in qualifying this year. That's a solid job for Josh Williams and everyone driving for B.J. McLeod to put that 78 in the position it's in right now.
There you see the man we talked to earlier, Austin Dillon, chasing that 5 car down into turn 3, running middle to high. He's higher, looks like losing some ground off turn 4, is he? Just a little bit.
Okay. Austin falls back to 3rd, and boy, that really puts into perspective what Timmy Hill did, doesn't it?
It certainly does, and I love seeing it. I think that was a little bit of a higher line than, we hear people saying as Stephen Parsons in the 45 Alpha Prime car takes the green flag. This is a home game for him, obviously, Cornelius, North Carolina. But I think when you say running the middle of the track, you take the risk of when you're in the middle of slipping up and getting too high. Stephen did a nice job down in turns 1 and 2. Has a great lap going here if he can just finish it up. This young man just gets it done when it's time to qualify. He doesn't have anything to fall back on. Slipped a little high there, but kept his foot in it. Going to be a great lap.
2nd of 12 starts in that 45 car for Stephen Parsons, and he is 3rd of the 18 drivers that have either made a qualifying run or had their turn come up in line and unable to get on track. And I say that because Sieg and Bassett did not get it done here in the qualifying session. Next up, Truck Series champion from a few years ago, Brett Moffitt.
Everybody has talked about, you heard Noah say it, and we heard from the garage area that the resin is dominant. That means people think that they've applied it in a part of the racetrack that makes it the stickiest, the most grip, and that's what they're trying to take advantage of. Stephen, he got really high off turn 4, but he didn't lose any ground off there to speak of, and Brett is going to log into the 5th position so far.
I'm thinking qualifying has been good to Fords here because last year Riley Herbst won the pole. Right now Ryan Preece is at the top, and here comes another driver with a blue oval on the front of his vehicle, Ryan Sieg. We talked about him out of Tucker, Georgia. Great veteran of the Xfinity Series, still searching for his first career win.
We talked about his speed too, how he ran in practice up in the top 10. He likes his car, thinks they're going a good direction. We'll see about those adjustments that he wanted Cowboy to make, how that's going to play out.
Lost a little ground coming back to the checkers, and Ryan Sieg 10th. Might be a little disappointed with that one. Graf, Alfredo, David Starr coming up on FS1. Halfway home for qualifying in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Race 13 comes your way tomorrow. And we'll find out who will lead them to the green here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Joe Graff Jr. is on track as we go to the pit lane and hear from Regan.
Adam Daniel Hunter, just a little bit outside the top 10 in practice just a moment ago when we finished things up. You told me that practice was a lot about you guys going out and learning stuff. Did you have the opportunity to learn what you needed to?
Regan, I would love to say yes. I mean, we learned what we needed to about our Circle Chevrolet for this weekend, but still going to be, I think, a good ways down the road before everyone within Colic Racing can get as fast as Xfinity as the internet. We got a little bit of work to do, but man, all the men and women are working exceptionally hard. We just haven't been able to find that one thing that we're missing. But the encouraging thing is, our teammate AJ's done a great job of making great finishes and getting those. So Landon and I got to do a better job of that. But yeah, we're still trying to find that one thing we're missing. But keep working. That's all you can do.
Nice job walking backwards for our camera too. Good job, Daniel. Like a professional.
The moonwalk with the defending champ.
And the defending champ, you could tell, just looking for speed. And that's so frustrating when you have an organization like Colic and the history they've had and the speed they've shown. And when it's just not there, it's really frustrating because you know that everything you need is in that building. And you just haven't been able to put all the final touches to the car to give it that speed that you need to go win races week in and week out.
You know, they talk about they're behind and not where they want to be. Other side of things, overachieving our motorsports, including this guy, Anthony Alfredo, who until that crash late last week at Texas was in position to jump into the top 12 and perhaps make the playoffs in 2022. Still not over, certainly, but a little further behind after that crash.
This is a little bit strange for me to watch, Adam, with the resin. Usually in qualifying, you're right on that white line, just digging as hard as you can, low on this racetrack. Nobody much ever ran up that high in qualifying, but that's just a sign of the times. And why that's great is because it's obviously shorter around the bottom. There's grip down there. That means when we go racing tomorrow afternoon, you're going to see 2 and 3 wide in the corners.
Alfredo ends up 17th as we go back to Regan.
You guys talk about racing tomorrow afternoon. We actually have racing this afternoon and this evening as well with the ARCA Series and the Truck Series coming up shortly. Brandon Jones already on track with ARCA. 1 pole position already today. Very fast with that race car. Anything you can correlate to this race car from that session?
Yeah, well, gosh, it's been a long time since I've set one of those ARCA cars, so a lot different. Took me a while to get back up to speed, but obviously found our way back up top pretty quick there in that session. Really happy with pole. I think we've got another fast GR Supra, Menards volley on our Supra over here. I think we're going to be really quick in this session as well. So just looking for certain things that are going to help me out tomorrow in that race. Restart lanes, passing points, stuff like that. Really noticed that the PJ1 started to come in during that session. So maybe the ARCA car will help me out a little bit there.
Adam said he's been so incredibly busy this week between the ARCA race, the Xfinity race, and also running at Millbridge, a local dirt track that many of these guys do. Spent 2 nights running over there earlier this week as well.
It just cracks me up that Brandon's probably got almost as many starts as anybody racing this weekend, and all he wants to do is continue to gather more data points.
Whoa, look at Mike Schneider, way high in the corner, slipped and went up the hill, and he'll lose ground down the back, but that was commitment. I like that.
Driving that 31 for Jordan Anderson. And his only career victory coming on a 1.5 miles.
This didn't go well. That car is loose, and you can see slipped right off of our leaderboard.
Myatt Snyder won a season ago at Miami, driving for Richard Childress. Going to have a long way to go to get his second win tomorrow. He's 19th on our qualifying leaderboard as we head to Georgia's Mason Massey, hometown Douglasville, about 4 hours down the road from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Saw he and Matt Mills the other night at dinner hanging out, chatting about the big races this weekend in Charlotte, how much fun this whole weekend is. What we're doing here in Charlotte with the trucks tonight, Xfinity tomorrow, and the 600 miles of remembrance on Sunday. This is just a special time in NASCAR.
If you're a race fan, this is the weekend.
This is the one they talk about. Big 3 on Sunday.
And I'm with you. What happens here Sunday evening is just special. And to be honest, the racing's great, but it has nothing to do with the racing. The 600 miles of remembrance that you have referred to is one of the great traditions in NASCAR.
Just thankful and grateful, and we celebrate that here in NASCAR.
Massey is 20th, and here comes the guy that led the way in practice, Trevor Bayne.
What a battle, huh? You can see off turn 2, Priest just is able to drive away. What happens in 3 and 4? Slid up just a little bit. He went for it, didn't he?
He did. Drove it right in there.
It's going to be second.
Priest stays at the top. A couple of tenths in front of Trevor Bayne, who is second in that 18 car.
How about let's celebrate row 2 so far right now. Timmy Hill and Stephen Parsons. What great laps those two put in. That's what got him there, just a little too high. And it slipped when he got up there. Lost his grip.
He'll be real good tomorrow, though, I would think, in Trevor Bayne. His crew chief, Jason Radcliffe, has won here 3 times in the Xfinity Series, so you know he'll get that thing tuned up. As we go to the rookie, Sheldon Creed in the 2 car.
Oh, he went to the bottom.
Mixing it up.
Yeah, why not? Must have not liked what he felt in 1 and 2 at the top. Said, I got to do something different. Maintained okay once he got down to 3 and 4. Dropped off a little bit there as he exited.
Painted the line with that left front tire. Creed is 9th. Next in line, Jeremy Clements. And, you know, here we are in Charlotte. We think of this as a home game, his home game. A couple of weeks ago in Darlington when he was running that Earnhardt throwback scheme. And he was right there to get a top 5, top 10 finish and was wrecked on the final lap. I hated that for him. But this is a team that you have so much confidence in to bounce back. And we'll see what that 51 can do here in qualifying at CMS.
Everybody's just trying the traction compound in the middle of 3 and 4, seemingly slipping through it a bit on exit and losing all their ground. Hung on for a spot in 13th as of now.
Noah Gragson pops out. And if you look at the numbers this year, the 2 drivers that have really separated themselves from everyone else, at least when it comes to wins, Noah Gragson, 2 victories, 3 for Ty Gibbs. Ty, the big headliner today because he got into the wall during practice. We saw him push their car to the garage. Michael, they're going to take that car back to the shop locally here in Huntersville, work on it tonight, bring it back tomorrow, go through inspection, and come from the rear. That's incredible for Ty Gibbs.
And if you needed another reason to watch, that's a good one. See if he can battle from the back of the field and get a top 5 finish, which I would almost bet he does.
And I'd say if he gets to the front, he'll be chasing both the guys you see on your screen. The ghost car of Ryan Priest, who stays fast, is Noah Gragson. Last week's pole sitter wraps his run currently 3rd, 30-51 for driver 9.
Brandon Brown takes the green flag. Woodbridge, Virginia driver. Got that big win at Talladega last fall. In dramatic fashion. Of course, it's Talladega.
When is it not dramatic there, right? You know, they have not been able to deliver at the same level this year. I know that they would have hoped, but I think it's not a detriment to them. It's just high praise for all the other teams that have made so many gains between last year and this year. Brown is 23rd right now in qualifying. Priest, Bayne, Gragson, Timmy Hill, Stephen Parsons, the top 5. Jeb Burton among the drivers that we will see on track next. We need audio on this conversation right here.
Definitely. Wonder who's saying what about when. Trevor just looking on, enjoying. This is what we need right here. I love the helmet cam. Look at the bumps into 3. That's great. Let's listen to him as he gets down into 1 and 2, Adam. See if he's bottoming out. We know he's going to do that into 3. As a guy that raced cars for a few years, this makes me feel so happy. I feel like I'm driving down the back straightaway.
Michael Waltrip is, in fact, a kid in a candy store.
See there, same trend. Struggling to get the gas back down and keep it low off turn 4. Nice run, though.
Jeb Burton is 8th of 32 right now. I talked to Jeb this week. Part of my prep work, we were exchanging voicemails, finally got a hold of one another. And I realized when he called me, 7:15, and he told me, heading home from the shop, been there all day. And I mean, this glamorous life of a race car driver, right? He is always in the garage and in the shop doing whatever he can to create speed for those Chevrolets from Our Motorsports.
And Adam, I'll tell you, it doesn't get glamorous until you get to Cup, and you can win at that level. Then it gets a little bit fun, but this is all work to try to get to Cup, and that's what all these guys desire to do. As you see Daniel putting in a nice lap here.
I know he's been frustrated lately. We heard it in his interview, but I got to believe he'll be somewhat satisfied with that 30.67, although he slipped a little bit there coming to the checkers.
There's his teammate, Landon Castle, coming to the green, see what he can do.
How about their week last week? Had to start in a backup car after hitting the wall in practice, and did an unbelievable job throughout the race, coming back from penalties and getting the top 10.
And look at this lap. Had a great entry to turn 1 and 2, which means he came to the line well, really good, Adam. Got some good run through 3 and 4. And I talked earlier about the cloud cover. Am I seeing a little bit of cloud cover down there?
It appears.
There's that troublesome turn 4 again.
Landon Castle, top 15 here a year ago, driving for JD Motorsports. You know he'll be good here tomorrow and competitive. Always is. He is 7th, a couple of spots behind his teammate Daniel Hemrick.
This cat was very confident. Brandon Jones down on pit road, Atlanta, Georgia driver, said we got a fast car for him here today. See if he can put it all together in this one lap.
His teammate Trevor Bayne is currently 2nd, and well, he was just kind of laying right there beside him, but he has jumped up and's got a chance to go out and put this at the top, Michael.
He was very confident when he was speaking down on pit road about what he had. There goes the car again, darn it. Can he rally? Wow.
Can't get there. 30-32. Did that remind you a little bit of Bain's similar spot where he slid up the racetrack? Oh my. Riley Herbst, last year's pole sitter in this race, has been in the wall.
See if we can check out on entries. Well, that was strange looking. Did the tire go soft? I didn't see him get loose and chase it up. Did you, Adam?
I did not.
See if we can get a better look at it. Maybe just pushed, bottomed out. The front end lost grip with the ground after the front hit the ground, and he just had too much speed to get it turned. Listen to it bottom. That was it. You hear him go to the gas like he needed to commit, but then the front end hit the ground. That obviously lightens up those front tires, and into the outside wall he went.
Unfortunate, because I mentioned his speed here a year ago. He's on a run of top 10s, and he's going to have some work to do if he's going to continue that streak tomorrow. We had it for you going to break. Riley Herbst getting into the wall. He's taking that 98 Ford to the garage. Big time frustration, Michael.
Yeah, that's a terrible feeling. You know, he was committed. He went down into turn 3, had no reason to think when he fired the gas back up that it was going to hit the ground and lose that front traction. And as you can see here, it happened really quickly. The bumps make the tires light in the front, and that means it's going to go straight when it hits right there.
And he had to be thinking about an awesome starting position, because basically his teammate Ryan Preece is P1, and as I said a couple of times earlier, he won the pole here last year,
and he was top 10 in practice.
Yep.
So everything pointed toward a pole for young Riley Herbst.
AJ Allmendinger, remember last week at Texas, didn't practice, came out qualified top 15. We'll see what he can do here. 9th in practice earlier today.
Couple guys still hanging around in the top 10. Timmy Hill, Stephen Parsons. They're trending toward their best qualifying efforts of their career. They can get some top 10 qualifying spots. That's a big deal.
Absolutely. Could be first ever pole for BJ McLeod and his organization if Ryan Preece hangs on.
And speaking of hanging on, this is a handful. It happened down at turn 1 and it continued through 3 and 4. But I think you saw right there, Luce was faster off turn 4. Everybody else kind of slipping up. AJ hung right in there.
The Dinger goes 5th, Regan.
Well, Adam, one of those guys you talk about having the best qualifying effort of his career in the Xfinity Series so far. Timmy Hill currently 6th. bumped down one spot just now, but a great lap for you.
Well, I really appreciate that. Yeah, you know, my career has been really based on having to qualify for races, so I've gotten pretty good at it in these pressure situations. You know, there's 4 extra cars here this weekend. I want to say a big thanks to MBM and the guys. They brought a car that we haven't run yet. This is his debut, so they really have it dialed in. Really appreciate Prime and Logan Paul joining us this weekend. We got a great looking car and excited for the race.
Good job. Thanks, Timmy.
That was a great interview, too. Tells you how important it is for these guys that just struggle to make the races week in and week out to be able to shine like Timmy did today.
Austin Hill won at Daytona earlier this year, but 17th in qualifying here in the 21 for RCR.
You just got to wait a few more cars there, Priest. They're tough ones, though.
Yes, all 3 from Junior Motorsports.
Got some fast cars coming your way. First one, Josh Berry. And he's got just a couple of hundredths in the bank. If he can get down the back straightaway with an advantage, it's going to be fun to watch, because watch the Ghost. We know how fast Priest was off 4, and that's where others have struggled.
All 4 Junior Motorsports cars, top 7 in practice.
There's the surge by Priest, and it's going to be enough. That's fun to do, the Ghost car, isn't it, Adam?
It's very entertaining. 300ths of a second the advantage Priest had over Josh Berry. 2 to go. Next up, Sam Mayer, the 18-year-old out of Wisconsin, who, as we said earlier, Regan mentioned, has been simply on fire. Top 5s in 6 of the last 7 races.
He showed up when he was about 12 and won a truck race at Bristol, and has had my attention ever since. He was actually 16, but, or maybe 7. Was he 17?
Yeah, he wasn't 12. We know that.
Well, he was just 17. And look, there he goes up the hill. Oh.
Michael, he's never been to Charlotte. This would be quite the way to start your career at Charlotte Motor Speedway with a pole position. Sam Mayer to the top.
Update quick enough.
How did that happen? I mean, he was nearly in the wall.
By 0.2 of a second he got it.
And it never went away when he made that big slide up top.
Only Justin Allgaier remains.
That was incredible. If I'm Ryan Priest, I'm questioning timing and scoring, Adam. That just didn't look right.
Allgaier hanging in there.
But this is the point of the track where Mayer hits the afterburners.
Looks like it's going to be all Junior Motorsports on the front row.
This is incredible. He must have not come out of the gas when it started sliding up toward the wall, because there's no way he wins that pole if he does. Watch this. Perfect entry. A little high, a little higher, a little higher. He keeps his leg in it. Look at that. What a great job by that young man.
18 years old. First start at Charlotte, and Sam Mayer has the first pole of his career. For the second straight week, a driver from Junior Motorsports has picked up their first career pole. Last Friday, Texas belonged to Noah Gragson. Today, it's the Sam Mayer show. And he's on the front row with his teammate, the veteran Justin Allgaier.
That was a pretty awesome performance there, Regan. Have him tell me about turn 4. That was crazy.
Michael, I agree. That was a phenomenal performance. And Michael wants to know, as we all do, turn 4, we watched the tracker. We saw how high you got on that racetrack. Were you up there intentionally, or was it kind of a hold-on-to-it moment?
Yeah, it was kind of like one of those things where I wanted to be one of the highest on the track. Obviously not that high. It's kind of like just the way the bumps are in 3 and 4. You just kind of lose everything. And like looking at the lap right there, like get a little free on entry there too. And it's just kind of like, just got to let the car do what you want, let it once, and it'll obviously have a lot of speed. So this accelerated Chevy Camaro is obviously really fast. We had a super solid practice session compared to what I thought we would be. So I'm really looking forward to tomorrow, for sure.
You mentioned having to let the car do what you want. We know tomorrow this track's going to move around a lot, top to bottom. It's going to change as the race plays out. How, with you making your first start here, will you adapt to that in the changing conditions?
Yeah, I mean, it's just about experience. Like the first and second stage, you're really going to just kind of see what the track does and kind of go from there. Because obviously I don't know what the heck's going on out there. I mean, I can watch past races all I want, but I'll never know how it feels until I experience it. So that's what the first 2 stages are going to be. And then final stage, we're going to go on kill mode and see what we can do.
Adam, first career start here. He's going to start on the pole tomorrow. Exciting for Sam Mayer.
You know, it's amazing. Usually I think a young guy would maybe fade late in races. It's been the opposite for him. He alluded to it there. Uses the first 2 stages to learn and then go to work in that final stage.
And I love that, Adam. You can't make a mistake when you're a rookie early because you give away that chance to learn everything that's out there for you. He's just the opposite. He totally just works his way through the early parts of the races and is always around at the end. 6 out of the last 7 races, top 5.
And, you know, Junior Motorsports has won 8 consecutive stages, all their drivers starting up front. We look at the grid. Ryan Preece in row 2. That's impressive.
It is, and I'm thinking the most impressive, other than our pole sitter Sam Mayer, is A.J. Allmendinger, top 10, with a car that was wobbling all over the place. Very loose run for A.J., but kept his foot in it and is going to start in the 8th position.
And he'll try and go for his 13th consecutive top 10 finish tomorrow. You saw Timmy Hill with his best career effort. Same for Stephen Parsons.
Yeah, he's done a great job. He's the top 11, best career start ever for Stephen. And you see Austin Hill rounding out our top 20. Brennan Poole, he's 19th. Great run for him as well.
Austin Dillon in the 48 that won last week. We'll see if he can get it done in tomorrow's race, starting outside the top 10. Kyle Weatherman on row 11 with Ryan Sieg. A couple of interesting names there.
Yeah, Shane Lee did a nice job too. Didn't have a very good practice, had to get it done when it counted, and he did just that. He's going to start on row 14.
And now we look at the rest of the starting lineup, and some intriguing names here because drivers didn't make runs. Ty Gibbs had the problem in practice. Riley Herbst hits the wall on his warm-up lap. They're going to have to come from deep after repairing their race cars.
Yeah, and Jeffrey Earnhardt didn't even get a chance to run a lap. They had a brake issue on that 26 car. So we'll see how Jeffrey's able to rebound from that issue, and he's going to start out back as well.
42 cars here. That means 4 go home. David Starr, Kyle Sieg, Ronnie Bassett Jr., Mason Massey missed the field. Looking forward to race number 13 in the Xfinity Series in 2022 tomorrow. It's our drivers only broadcast. Coverage begins with race day on FS1, noon Eastern time. In the booth, Kevin Harvick, Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney. Studio's going to be great. Brad, Eric, and Stenhouse. I mean, this is always fun.
It's so much fun, and this should give you some serious job comfort, Adam, when they try to host those shows. Now, me, not so much. The analysts that just talk about what's happening on the racetrack, they've got it down pretty good, but I think they'll figure out what a professional you are and the job you do in running the show.
Well, thank you for that. Reddick won last week. He's on pit road tomorrow with Austin Cindric. Don't forget, after we finish the race tomorrow, Cup Series practice and qualifying at 7 tomorrow evening. It's preparation for NASCAR's longest race, the Coke 600. ARCA racing tonight. Michael and the fellas have the trucks. Next, it's NASCAR Race Hub live from our Charlotte studios. Here's Shannon.
Well, someone here in the studio said that there's a new mayor in town, and I'm shocked that Adam Alexander did not use that at some point during qualifying out there at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Hi, everyone. Back here in our studios located about 10 miles from the Speedway. We've just wrapped up Xfinity Series qualifying. As I said, Sam Mayer, 18-year-old, is on the pole out there for this race this weekend. Of course, the ARCA race is coming up at 6, but we're here until then. I'm Shannon Spake, David Reagan, and the Hall of Famer Bobby Labonte. What were you doing at 18 years old, Bobby?
Yeah, I was not running up against the wall like Sam Mayer did. That was amazing. Obviously, listening to his interview, we were talking about how young he looks and how young he talks. And but man, what an impressive run that he did today, qualifying on the pole. And you know, all these guys really, that's their goal, is they want to get up there and qualify up front. We see JRM up there. We saw Ryan Preece in 4th. Some guys had some trouble. So all around the board, I think, you know, a lot of these guys trying, but obviously, Sam, that impressive.
So impressive.
Yeah, and Charlotte Motor Speedway is one of the toughest tracks to qualify on in the middle of the afternoon, Shannon. They had the resin in that second lane, so there was a question, go to the bottom, run the top. But a shout out to Trevor Bayne and Ryan Preece, a couple of guys running part-time, both qualified in the top 5.
Important to start up front in this race?
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. I mean, you want to stay out of the hornet's nest.
Yeah.
And always talk about that in the middle of the pack. So important to start up front.
You think you can get there, but you don't want to be that guy. They have to start at the back, so let's start up front.
All right, we got a lot to cover over the next 60 minutes. Here's a look at what is lined up and ready to go. We're going to take a look at who's good this weekend's 600-mile race. We're going to crunch those numbers. And it's not just 600 miles, it's 600 miles of remembrance on this very special weekend. Josh Sims is with Zane Smith on the shift, and we get a check-in with Jamie Little and the guys as we get you set for ARCA racing from Charlotte. From F1 to Indy, ARCA Trucks Xfinity Cup. I'm exhausted just saying it. There's so much to love about this weekend, Bobby. It's literally one of the best racing weekends, maybe the best racing weekend in all of motorsports.
It really is. And I mean, to catch it all on the tube, you know, and see it from morning till night, I mean, that's what makes it so much fun for me. And, you know, I've been fortunate enough, I've been to the Monaco Grand Prix race, and after I retired from racing full time, been to the Indianapolis 500, watched that. Always come home to watch the Coke 600 and being a part of it. But yeah, I mean, it's such a great weekend, obviously, Memorial Day, and to watch it, to end up with a NASCAR race is always a lot of fun on a Sunday night.
Well, Bobby Labonte's been to Monaco and Indy. I've been in Concord, North Carolina for these NASCAR races the last 15 years, but a lot of fun, Shannon. You know, Memorial Day, you know, the summer is here. The sun's out. Racing is going on all around the country, but it's special for these race teams. Most of them are based here in Charlotte, North Carolina. So, you know, their wives, their children, their family, they're all out at the racetrack, and that is one of those races you want to win.
The Concord Farmers Market and Monaco, very
similar places.
Kind of the same thing. Qualifying, right? We're talking about qualifying. We've already qualified the trucks. We've already qualified the Xfinity Series Cups. Going to qualify tomorrow. Take a look at these guys right here. And those are the guys that are starting up front. It said on my notes that we're going to talk to someone. Regan is going to talk to someone who's fast. Any one of the junior motorsports drivers could have done, but he's got Josh Berry. Here he is.
Shannon, you are absolutely correct. All the junior motorsports cars, so much speed lately. Josh Berry qualified fourth just a few moments ago. Josh, you told me before we came on camera the qualifying was good, but you felt like even in race trim was better yet.
Yeah, I really feel good. We had a really good practice. He's got everybody on this Harrison's USA team has really done a great job. Obviously, all of our company has been super awesome, man. We're just trying to ride the wave right now, but yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I thought we had a really good practice. Our takeoff was kind of edgy, but I felt like after like 8 or 10 laps, we were pretty good. So just hats off to all these guys, everybody at Junior Motorsports, home race for us. We obviously want to win this one for sure.
Home race, Shannon, you mentioned earlier, friends, family, this garage will be packed of people come tomorrow. No bigger race than this one to win for all these guys.
So much fun. And Joey Logano is actually going to hang out with those junior motorsports drivers before the Xfinity Series race tomorrow. But, I mean, my goodness, what a season it's been for junior motorsports. All those guys just really fast. It just seems like the high tide is lifting all those ships.
Yeah, and you're right, Shannon. When one is running well, generally that kind of spreads amongst the shop because you always want to be best in class. And so, you know, it's cool that they're all racing hard, and they usually race with respect. But I know those car owners, I know Dale Jr., he wants them to be up front, but he doesn't want them banging too much.
No, but all four of them, they're running great. And obviously, they have a fifth car every now and then, too. So, yeah, it's really, really stout right now. And you can see it with the pole. You can see it with Josh Berry as well. And he's excited about his racing. So it's good. That whole team is good, gelling.
Yeah, there's always a sense of pride of winning at Charlotte, especially when your team owner is a guy named Dale Earnhardt Jr. Remember, tomorrow is the Xfinity Series race is the 5th annual Drivers Only broadcast. From the booth to pit road to right here in the studio, it is always so much fun when the drivers take over the broadcast.
Tomorrow at Charlotte Motor Speedway, the stars from the NASCAR Cup Series are taking over the broadcast as they call the Xfinity Series race from a driver's point of view.
I've never been more nervous in my whole life.
So don't miss our Drivers Only broadcast team live from Charlotte. Tomorrow starting at 12 p.m. Eastern on FS1.
All right, so who is going to be where? Well, this is what we'll see tomorrow. We've got Brad Keselowski, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., and Eric Almirola here in the studio. In the booth will be Kevin Harvick, Joey, and Ryan Blaney. They've done that many times. Those guys are a blast to listen to. And on pit road, our pit reporters will be with Tyler Reddick and Austin Cindric. If you guys had to pick one position for this Drivers Only, where you would be, what do you think?
One position. I know it's going to be hot, but I want to be on pit road.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've always thought about that pit road, guy or girl standing down saying, hey, they're going to take 4 Goodyear tires and Sunoco racing fuel. That's kind of like that thing you always hear.
Yeah, so. Wedge adjustment, track bar adjustment, not necessarily anymore.
Those words out, but no, that would be fun to be on pit road. How about you, Bobby?
Yeah, I'm going to be right here. You know, I would love to be right here. Air conditioning is really good, and I'd love to be able to tell the producers, say, hey, go get David Reagan to find out what those guys are doing right now, and have you run up down pit road. Yeah. You can direct that from here. I think I'd like it.
Yeah, it's much cooler in here, but I will tell you, it's really cool to be down there with the crews. And you mentioned food, I think, earlier. They do bring you food down there. Sometimes they'll bring you granola bars. Sometimes the crew guys make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Yeah, you would definitely be robbing some of that food from their stash.
Totally. All right, before we go to break here on the Hub, here's our race fan Hub fan vote, I should say, midway through the regular season. Who is the championship favorite? We want to know what you think. Is it the 5, the 18, the 24, or that famous other? What do you think? We're going to debate this a little bit later in the show. All right, we're here till 6 p.m. to get you ready for the ARCA race out at the Speedway. Much more to come. We're going to crunch the numbers. We're also going to tell you who could be good for 600 miles. And Kurt Busch is going to bring us along for 600 miles of remembrance. Stick around.